Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another Galaxy of Heroes video with me, your boy Scribe. That is right, I am still sick, but do you know what else is also sick? Conquest Sector 2, the feats, the cheese. I've got it all for you, baby. Let's get going. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Sector 2 of Conquest. Done and dusted. We did our Sector 1 video yesterday. Make sure you do go ahead and check that out. I'll have a whole playlist for every sector in this Conquest so I can help you guys reach all of your goals. So, Sector 2, Feats. What do we need to do? Attempt to inflict Daze 40 times. Attempt to inflict buff immunity 40 times. These two, we can actually double bubble into one battle on auto, so you're welcome. Win 10 battles without losing any units. If you need help with that, I don't know what to help. Guys, just do it. And then win 10 battles with Captain Silvo and Vane surviving. Not a problem at all. As always, ladies and gentlemen, I always do recommend you try and look out for a node that either has Droidica in a separatist team, preferably not with GG, because that makes it a little bit more awkward, or I got very lucky in this particular one, I believe over here, I have a Dooku lead with Jango Fett. Jango Fett is basically the same as Droidica. He starts off with damage immunity for 2 turns. Excuse me, I do apologize. He starts off with damage immunity for 2 turns, which means if we can control the field, we can basically create infinite opportunities to farm out certain feats that require either to gain buffs or set debuffs. So if you can get this, fine. If you got one with the Droidica, also works quite well, alright? All you need to do is make sure that you can keep them stun locked, kill the enemy team, keep this guy stun locked, never let him take a turn, and you can farm out a load of these feats really, really quickly. Super. So full data disks, a lot of this I did with 0 data disks, but what you will find is occasionally I might be using Booming Voice over here. Booming Voice is a really, really useful data disk in so much as it allows you to call assist. So in particular going after that Jango Fett, keeping him in damage immunity, making sure he doesn't take any turns. Booming Voice really, really helps with that. There are other methods of getting it done. I believe there's a 3-dot mod, I can't remember what it does, which is the same thing more or less, just to a lesser extent. But mostly we're just going to be going ahead with Zealous Ambition and Vitality setups. Vitality increases our max health. Zealous Ambition means that our supports and our healers do damage based on their max health. It's really huge. Well, they gain offense equal to 34% in this Zealous Ambition case, goes higher and higher, and Vitality increases the max health and protection. Leader's Resolve increases max health protection for the leader, including additional speed. It's a good setup to have. But yeah, easy peasy. Shall we start off with the big one, ladies and gentlemen? Let's start off with the big one against this particular team over here. So what we're going to be doing, I'm sure if you are familiar with it, I use this cheese all the time in my Conquest videos. The core is CLS, Chewbacca, and Han Solo. All we need then is a character that can apply Daze and a character that can apply buff immunity. And you want these characters to be able to do it on their basic. And if they also happen to be rebels, then all the better because there is more synergy here, which is absolutely fabulous. Where is my Zeb? Zebedee, 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 Zebedee. Let's just filter by Phoenix. It's easier to find then because my addled brain is not doing too great. So this CLS team, this is all about turn meter control. Keep the enemy from taking turns. Cassian over here, on his basic 2 steps ahead, deal physical damage to the target enemy with an 85% chance to inflict buff immunity for 2 turns. And then over here on Zeb, his bash basic, deal physical damage to the target enemy and daze them for 2 turns. Now, these feats, they only require you to attempt to daze, attempt to apply buff immunity. You don't actually have to land it, so if the enemy resists, absolutely fine, don't worry. That being said, Chewbacca does place Tenacity down, so you should be landing those feats. Cool, let's look at the footage. So here we go. All I'm wanting to do right now is take out the enemy team and then control that Jango Fett. Alright, you saw the data disks, we're using Booming Voice for this one, but the rest is still Zealous Ambition and Vitality setups. You want to just get rid of everybody that you possibly can, making sure that you also get that Tenacity down on Jango Fett. That makes it easier for us to take him out and control his speed, and then just get rid of everybody else quickly as possible, okay? Look at always be mindful of the turn meter on Jango. As soon as he breaches over 50% turn meter, make sure you are basicking him with Han Solo. That is going to then control the turn meter. I'm stripping it back here. You see he's stunned, he's dazed, he's got buff immunity. At this point, auto basic. Just auto basic and let this bad boy play out. I'm pretty sure that we managed to make it almost to the end of the battle. But with Booming Voice over here, you're doubling up essentially on the number of buff immunities and the number of dazes, because whenever CLS takes a turn, you are then calling everybody to assist, which means Cassian and Zeb are also applying those debuffs, right? Every time he uses call to action and all of his specials, all that sort of good business. It's a really, really easy way of getting this done, and you can just leave it run. So, let's just fast forward ahead and see how long we actually last over here. Look at that. A minute left on the board. Looks like we get it to about a minute left, and I think he maybe takes a turn. Obviously, if you have more speed on your team, it's going to make it even easier. But it looks like he must have resisted one of them. Still, 4 minutes of farming away, getting those feats is really, really solid. Best way of getting it done. But not the only way of getting it done. Another really useful thing to do is to keep an eye out for an Imperial Trooper team, or any Empire team really. If you happen to have Radus, Admiral Radus, he has basically got a de facto way of applying daze to the enemy. If they are Empire, whenever they gain bonus turn meter, they're inflicted with daze for 2 turns, which can't be resisted. So going up against an Empire team with Admiral Radus, I've just realized actually that ROLO is actually just objectively better than Cassian for buff immunity on a basic, because she's got a 100% chance to apply buff immunity, and she's going to gain 10% turn meter, and an additional 10% turn meter if they have full health, and an additional 10% turn meter if they're Empire. So against Jango Fett, he'll be at full health all the time, so she's going to be gaining 20% turn meter every time she does a basic. Definitely use Leia instead of Cassian. I'm a silly sausage. But anyway, Ad Rad, ladies and gentlemen. Ad Rad up against a Imperial Trooper team is very, very good. You can throw it in a team like this. You've still got Cassian that you can use here. He can still apply that buff immunity. And you just want to go auto basic against an Imp Trooper team. You see, right at the start, as soon as they take a turn, they're gaining bonus turn meter, immediately dazed. Don't AoE with Ad Rad, especially if you're running Zealous Ambition. Ad Rad is an absolute don in those situations, so be careful of that. Go on auto basic and you should be okay to get some free dazes really, really easily. He absolutely destroys Imp Troopers, it's great. Another really decent way of getting buff immunity is, of course, to be using B2 Super Battle Droid. This guy is really, really good for buff immunity because of a number of reasons. Essentially, this guy is able to reset his cooldowns and has a 40% chance to gain 100% turn meter whenever an ally is either evading or getting damaged by an attack, which means real good chance if an enemy does an AoE, B2's probably taking a bonus turn or gaining 100% turn meter and potentially resetting his cooldowns. His AoE, second special, Mow Down, this is an AoE dispel that can apply buff immunity. 80% chance for an AoE buff immunity. Really, really good. Go against a team that does lots of attacks and is relatively weak. So you could even go up against a mirror match here. Mirror match a GG. I won't say you'll win, won't say it'll be nice stars, but a really good way to reactively gain a lot of buff immunity. Of course, as well, those of you that do have the Padawan Obi-Wan Omicron, this thing over here can easily apply buff immunity as well. Let's just find it here. Padawan Obi-Wan starts a bonus turn. Allies recover 75% health, gain 75% offense for 2 turns, and enemies are inflicted with buff immunity and healing immunity for 2 turns, which can't be resisted. It's a really, really powerful Omicron, and you can use it just as you're progressing. Also can play into the global feat of needing to get 20 wins with a full Galactic Republic squad. So you could go in with your Queen Amidala and your Padawan Obi-Wan and your Master Qui-Gon Jinn, and you could throw in, 2 extra, I don't know, just whatever, it doesn't really matter who they are, right? That Omicron is going to be able to spread those debuffs really, really quickly. Every time the enemy takes turns, he has a chance for a bonus turn, provided he's over 50% stamina, and then he'll apply buff immunity to the team. Really, really good. Really, really good. So let's talk about win 10 battles with Captain Silvo and Vane surviving. There are a number of ways you can do this, right? If you've got them low gear, obviously not great. If they are high gear, you can obviously be throwing them in with like your Maz or your PK Hondo, right? So got some footage over here. Not particularly useful to most people, I'm sure, but I've just gone in with a Pirate King Hondo team. This will get you win with no losses because a GL is not going to lose in Sector 2, I would hope. If you've got some decent level of investment, just make sure you take in Silvo and Vane. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. You can pretty much full auto that and win. I've taken in Hondo here, the OG Hondo, so I didn't want to put it on full auto because he'll escape and cost me some stars. But you can also abuse the fact that Ad Rad has a really powerful AoE with Zealous Ambition. If you could do that, Oftentimes all you need is Ad Rad to take one turn to just like bop and you'll kill half the team, which is rather nice. Also throwing in other characters that are, you know, support types with AoEs, like you've got your C-Rex over here. Alternatively, you've got your Dash Rendar. These sort of guys doing their AoEs do really, really solid damage. Dash is probably one of the best ones in terms of leadership for just like straight up AoE damage. Just have them lots of speed, try and up the health as much as possible and use those data discs to your advantage. Obviously, instead, you could throw them in with your Galactic Legends, anything that's going to sort of get the win as soon as possible. You want those units surviving, so you need lots of damage. If you've got characters like Reaver, for example, Reaver with Inquisitors, really, really good way of getting the ball rolling and taking out the enemy quickly. It's what you're looking for. Mid-sector boss then. We've got 2 feats here. You need to win with Jedi Master Mace Windu in your squad. I don't think I need to show you a guide for that one, guys. It's Jedi Master Mace Windu. If you've got him, you've obviously got a full team for him. It's a complete walk against this. And then you've got win with a full squad of pirates. I don't know how to effectively show you this, guys. My pirate teams are just way too over-invested. They're all like Relic 9, more or less. I could probably try and go in with like a Captain Ethano and Quiggold and Kix, and then maybe throwing in OG Hondo and Nest. This will probably work with the current data disk setup I'm using of Leader's Resolve and Zealous Ambition. Really, really good combo there. You obviously want to try and focus down the Grand Inquisitor out the gate. Oh, Kix, by the way. Kix is a support type. I imagine when I do this AoE now, things are going to go kind of scatty. Let's check it out. Yeah, that was pretty sick. Sector 2 boss, really not so bad. Obviously, if you don't have investment in your pirates, you're going to have a hard time here. It's a bit of a tricky one, but fortunately, what I can say is that at least it's just Sector 2 where the value is so much lower in terms of conquest cards, right? You're not going to struggle too much if you don't happen to get these 2 feats. Just go in and try and win with whatever you possibly can. But maybe try and abuse the fact that Kix is a support type. So is OG Hondo, by the way. They don't need to survive, you just need to win with a full team of pirates. Only 2 data discs at the end of the day, or data keys, sorry, so it shouldn't be too hard. Now, end sector boss is against General Grievous. You need to win with a solo Kylo Ren. The hint is in the name, your first Zeta. This is really interesting, actually, because this is the original Kylo. It's not Slacker, it's not Crew, it's original Kylo Ren. And it's talking about this Outrage Zeta. 15% damage and recover protection equal to the damage dealt. Basically, it keeps him alive. This is an original raid team. This is an original raid battle where we're facing off against the heroic AAT. It's actually pretty cool. If you want to remod, just try and remod for a lot of damage. Crit damage in particular is a great way to go with this guy, and protection if you want it. Now you can more or less just go straight after General Grievous. Use that second special when you are losing all of your protection, so that when you deal the damage, you just recover a bunch of protection. Shouldn't be too bad. I went after the B2 here because I'm not sure if he's actually got that reactive ability. Didn't know, but you can see, look, we get really peaky and close here. You use the second special and you just go bop. There you go, 100% protection. Real easy, real easy. Pretty sure you could just focus in on General Grievous and win this almost immediately though. So probably just do that instead. I go after Grievous, bop, and he's gone. Easy, easy money. It's really cool that CG is reintroducing these old raids because we haven't seen these in years. And there's some really good content there. Get some cool videos, you know what I'm saying? I miss it. Now the second team is Dots. Win with using Darth Vader, Wampa, Grand Admiral Thrawn, BB-8, and Commander Luke Skywalker. Honestly, this boss battle is so very easy that you don't have to worry about it, guys. I will show you a guide, just in case. So again, all you really want to do, just focus down the enemy General Grievous. If you can focus in on him, you'll kill him really easy. They've toned the difficulty of this these boss sector nodes so far anyway, really down low so that you're able to win with the weird old raid teams that we used to run. Focusing on General Grievous and just, I actually had no data discs equipped when I did this. I went in absolutely raw dog. But you can see how easy it is. You can see how easy it is. To be fair, my Wampa is Relic 9. The General Grievous kind of glitched out a little bit there, but super easy. Barely an inconvenience. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it for Sector 2. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for Sector 3. I'll have that out as very quickly as I possibly can. I will see you all in the very next video. Peace out, and may the Force be with you.